G'day everybody, it's Master Yoda here and hope you guys are all doing well. The title of today's video is a continuation of PUA, Why It Doesn't Work, Part 3. You have limiting beliefs. Many years ago I was reading some PUA stuff from a PUA company called RSD. I think it stands for Real Social Dynamics. They're not around anymore though. I believe they broke up a couple of years ago. That was run by a guy called Owen Cook, who went by the PUA name of Tyler Durden. I remember watching some of their stuff, and they went on about men having limiting beliefs. What they're referring to is like guys, particularly unattractive guys like me, for example, who believed, or should I say, know, they're not able to attract beautiful women, or any women for that matter. And there's a valid reason for that. I mean, many of us men in the BP and Inkwell communities, particularly us more unattractive guys, particularly extremely unattractive guys like me. Obviously, we try to approach women of all types of looks, average, below average, and the occasional Stacey. And we got very brutally rejected, often instantly. And that's why we believe well, I wouldn't call them limiting beliefs. I just call it being honest with yourself and knowing your limitations as a man. The reason why you believe, or not believe, should I say, the reason why you know you can't attract a beautiful woman, or any woman for that matter, is because of all the failure you've had in the past. Now, that's not to say that your luck could improve. I mean, if you did some looks maxing, and if that looks maxing works, you could improve your results with women. But what if you've done all the self-improvement? Your looks maxed as much as you possibly can. Your life's in order, and you're still getting rejected by women because you're just that unattractive. Well, of course you're going to have those, what the PUA calls limiting beliefs because of your past experience. But I think the PUAs like to use this grubby little tactic to trick you into buying their useless dating advice. They say, "Oh no, it's not your looks. You just have limiting beliefs." So the probably most toxic thing about the self-help industry, and I'll include people like PUAs, dating roaches, people like Tony Robbins, and the people who wrote that silly book, The Secret. I think the most toxic thing that they push out is this idea that if you think you're going to succeed at something, if you have positive thoughts, well, those positive thoughts those positive things that you're thinking will come true. Life doesn't work that way. You're not going to be successful at something just because you think you'll be. No. Once again, life doesn't work that way. And I think it's very toxic to push that sort of thinking, because what you're doing is you're giving people false hope based on blind optimism, which is more toxic than being doomerish and negative. I know us men in both the BP and Inkwell communities were often accused of being very negative, very doomerish, nihilistic. Look, that's true to some extent, but there's a very valid reason why a lot of us guys think that way. I mean, some of us guys have approached hundreds, in some cases thousands of women for little to no results. Me personally, as I've said before in previous videos, in over a 35-year period, or in my lifetime, in trying to meet a woman, I probably approached about for 230 women, 100 in person, and the rest online. And I got rejected pretty much every single time. I did get rejected every single time. With the online ones, I did get 2 replies. One of them wasn't particularly favourable. The other one rejected me, but she was nice about it. With the online ones, you've got to take them with a grain of salt. And the reason why I say that is because, as we all know, there's a lot of scams that go on with dating sites, and one of them is fake profiles. I think they call them bots, where it appears to be a female member of that site, but that is created by the website to trick men into thinking, oh, there's a woman there, I'll send her a message and see what happens. So maybe some of those women that I sent messages to on those dating sites, they probably didn't even exist. But anyway, I sent about 130 odd messages and got absolutely no success. But with the 100 women I approached in person, once again, that was over a 35-year period. I'm pretty shy, reserved guy. There were some years I never approached any women at all. So I'm quite shy and quite reserved, and it took a lot of guts on my part approach those women, because I'm a non-drinker, and unfortunately I can't rely on the Dutch courage to approach women. So every time I did approach women, it was a pretty nerve-wracking experience. But it doesn't matter now, because I gave up 13 years ago. Back in September 2012, I completely gave up on dating, and now I just pay to play. But sorry, I digress. Just going back to the topic of the video. Yeah. No, I don't think we have. I don't think us men in the BP and in-core communities have limiting beliefs. I think we're just honest with ourselves, and we're realistic, and we know our limitations as men. Look, I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan, and obviously my favourite movies that he made were the Dirty Harry movies. And the very second one he made was called Magnum Force, and I think came out back in 1973. And there's a very famous line that Clint Eastwood would often say during the movie, and that is, "A man has got to know his limitations." Well, I definitely know mine. The reason why I gave up on dating, and once again, I'm not saying that anybody else should, that's your own personal decision, but the reason why me personally gave up on dating is I just don't think I can attract a woman. And, and please don't take me the wrong way. I mean, most of the women that I approached, you probably call them average to moderately attractive. I didn't approach too many states. I think out of the 100 women that I approached face to face, probably 2 of them you could call them a Stacey, and they brutally rejected me. But I was blue pilled back then. I mean, I wouldn't do that now. Oh God, no, no way in hell. I mean, Stacey's simply out of my league. Well, pretty much all women are pretty much out of my league. So I know my limitations, and if you are one of those unattractive guys that no women want, well, I feel sorry for you. It's a pretty tough situation to be in, but it's not your fault. You just got to know your limitations as a man. I mean, I certainly do. I've humbled myself. And once again, I'm not angry at women. No, not at all. They're just acting on their biology, and they want the best possible genetics for any offspring they may have with a particular man. Definitely not going to happen with me, with my sub-3 subhuman genetics. That's life. I'm just honest with myself. I know I'm a very unattractive man, and that's why I have to pay to play. And because I'm just too unattractive, or I'm too ugly for civilian women. That's life. Once again, not angry at women. Not angry at women at all. They're just acting on their biology. But no, us men in the big P and equal communities, we don't have limiting beliefs. That's just a shaming tactic, or what I call the PUA, or the scam PUA industry. They're just trying to guilt trip men into buying the overpriced and useless dating advice and products. They say, "Oh no, it's not your looks, guys. No, you just have limiting beliefs. You don't think you're going to attract a woman because of your beliefs. Beliefs have nothing to do with it. You can have the most positive beliefs in the world. If you don't succeed, what good? What good are those beliefs going to be to you? It's like having fake confidence. Women are going to see straight through it. And once again, with confidence, you can only be as confident with a woman as she allows you to be. But no, we don't have limiting beliefs at all. No, we're just realistic, and we know our limitations as men. I definitely do. I mean, I think the worst lie a man can tell himself is when he tries to be something that he's not. It's like someone who thinks they're a great fighter or a great boxer, but the reality is they couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. What's going to happen when they're put up against a person who doesn't know how to fight? They're going to get their heads caved in. Sorry, you've got to be honest with yourself and just be realistic. I certainly am. I know I can't attract a beautiful woman. I can't attract any woman for that matter. But that's my tough luck. I'm not trying to solicit anyone's sympathy. Yeah, you've got to be honest with yourself. Know your limitations, man. Look, I'm all for self-improvement. One criticism of the BP is that we just tell guys just to give up. If it's too hard, no. Look, obviously you should try and self-improve. You should always be on a never-ending journey of self-improvement, and having goals for yourself. Nothing wrong with that. That's a good thing. But if you're going to do that, if you're going to embark on a journey of self-improvement, just remember two things: be realistic, and just know your limitations as a man. Like, say, for example, you want to start a small business. Hey, great! If you think you can make a go of it, go for it. But you're not going to. Chances are, and even if you succeed, you're not going to be the next Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates. So you just need to be realistic and honest with yourself. But going back to dating, if you're not a particularly attractive guy, just be honest with yourself. I am. I've humbled myself, and it gets you down, but that's normal. That's it. So the bottom line is no, we don't. Us men in the BP and Inco communities, we don't have limiting beliefs. We're just a bunch of men who know our limitations as men, and we're just realistic and honest with ourselves. But once again, the scam PUA industry, they like to guilt trip you and say, oh, no, it's not your looks, you just have limiting beliefs. Look, your beliefs, positive or negative, have play little to no bearing on your success with the ladies. They really don't. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening to my video. If you'd like to leave your likes, comment, and subscribe, and I'll speak to you soon. You guys have a great day. Bye for now.